here we have the carburetor and a whole bunch of other stuff which I didn't think I needed, but I'm going to replace my Mickey Mouse fuel line with this brand new one. My chainsaw was working hard and hot, ripping boards from an alder log for a table I was making. It died at idle and would not restart. Spark was good. I cleaned the carburetor and it would not start. It wouldn't even pop. I thought I might have damaged the carburetor with overzealous cleaning. My rule is, if I don't know what the fix is, start cheap and work up. New carburetors are cheap. The one I bought is one of two that fits my model of saw, but it's not the one that came on mine. For only $20 and with a lot of extras, it seemed worth a shot. Now, the moment of truth. Will this carburetor work? Okay, this is a Zama that came in it. This is the other one. And here, throttle linkage looks good. Feels good. Okay, here is the difference. Slightly different idle throttle set screw and different placement of the low and high speed jet screws, which is what I expected from comments about this new carburetor, but the holes in the cover not being in quite the correct place. We can deal with that. So it looks like the first thing I need to do is take this fuel line out. Now, one guru, I said he pulls it out through the tank but puts it in through the top. We'll try that. First thing on this agenda is to pour out the gasoline. I happen to have a nice clean coffee can with a little bit of dust in it. I'm going to do this outside. Well, of course, the tank was full, and of course, I spilled a lot of gasoline up here. So I'm going to open up the door and leave it open for ventilation. What I did, of course, was forget that the fuel line is not attached to the carburetor. You know, the guy I saw on YouTube put himself a hook, reach in there, pull out the fuel line. I don't know why he would have found it easier to pull it out through here. Perfectly good. This is how I replaced this upper part when I didn't know how to get the whole thing out of the tank. I have to push that down rather vigorously. Oh, that was easy. it's supposed to end up like this. Okay, that part's in. How the hell do you get it past here? Not as easy as it looks like it should be. And the flat side goes toward my thumb. I should have marked that. Right there. Did I go too far? You have another whole things in the tank. Okay. I'm beginning to see why I thought that you probably had to take more of this apart. Well, I think we're going to have to oil that up a little bit. And let's put a mark on that of some kind. How can we do that? I wonder if a pencil mark will show up. Of course not. I can put a pencil mark on here. To orient this flat side. Once this is in there and out of sight. Okay, this is oriented. Correctly. If this doesn't go in straight, it will not seal. Orientation is still good. Okay. See a little bit of a problem. Orientation is not quite correct, which might be why it doesn't want to go in. I think that's got it. I think. Now we need the other end to put on brand new fuel filter. Boy, that just barely, I mean just barely gives you enough room. I am going to get a pair of bent needle nose get a hold of that. Okay. Appears to be lying in there properly. So I'm going to say we've installed the fuel line correctly and successfully. Time will tell. A new gasket. And a new carburetor. Everybody who's commented on YouTube, or excuse me, on Amazon, has said that the jets were properly adjusted. Glad to hear that. They do not give you a hell of a lot of room here. This needs to be right down the middle, like that. Fuel line is on. What am I looking for? Choke. Choke is in. Well, shall we use the new one? See no reason why not. Oh, I might want to hook up the throttle. You've got to rotate it in. Now you've got to bring up the trigger. It's in. We have throttle. We have choke. Now we have an air cleaner. This can stay over there. Okay, now all we have to do is put fuel in it, which I should do outside, but it's dark outside, so I won't. Get a nice clean shop towel. Put out a square. And we have a funnel. And we have a pour spout. And what we have in here is a little bit of dirt and coffee grounds. The question is, will it run? Well, here we are again, next day. I pulled the plug, checked it, sparked fine, put it back in, and went outside to try to start it. Broke the starter cord. Not the first time that's happened. So, thing to do now is replace it. As long as I'm in there, I might as well put in the new spark coil. And see if I can get this out of here without, oh, it's easy. Why has there always been so much trouble? Very simple. And there's the spring. Now this was a perfectly good length before, so I assume it will be now. I also see I did not need to take this off. This looks to be about the same. Okay. So we need this much plus this much plus knots. So right about here. Next thing to do, melt the ends so they don't fray. Got my collection of matches from various hotels and restaurants back in the day. And hotels and restaurants advertised with matches. Okay. First thing we do, find the smaller end. It will go through the hole. And we tie a knot. Figure 8 makes a good stopper knot. Now this opening here has to go around that right there, and we did. But we need to make probably one more turn. We will, but we'll put the handle back on first. Looks like that melted tip might be too big to fit through the hole. And it is. Okay, plan B. Simple. Figure 8. Don't realize that dehumidifier is on until it goes off. And then it's quiet. Okay, do I really want to try to replace that coil? That's a beautiful spark. Well, we're left with the possibility that perhaps the flywheel slipped and it is not firing at the proper time. But I've checked that visually. But I think I'm going to quit with it. I'll take it to Hallowell. Don't even know if they're open during COVID shutdown. The damn thing should pop. Even if the carburetor adjustments are completely out of whack, it should pop. Okay, there's nothing to do except put tools away. I don't need 3 in there. I'll leave one out here. So I took the saw to Hallowell, explained what I was doing when it quit and what I'd done to try to correct it. The mechanic pulled the starter one time and said, "You don't have any compression." The compression had felt okay to me. I think it had been slowly diminishing over time at the same rate as my arm strength has been diminishing. I'd been working it very hard. He said the homeowner style saws are not designed for such heavy use. Running an Alaskan sawmill, there's also the possibility I've been running it too lean. So I've reviewed the carburetor setting techniques. I'll put a link down below to the best place to go for small engine information. The mechanic said what a mechanic said to me 30 years ago, and this happened to me the first time on a different saw. It's cheaper to buy a new one than to repair the old one. Well, that's true if you buy the parts from the manufacturer. You can buy a complete engine short block rebuild kit online for under $60. I did that. It'll be here in a couple of days. While I'm waiting for it to arrive, I'm watching videos by other people who've had the same problem and have used the same rebuild kit on their saws. I'll put a link to that kit below also. God, that's ugly.